Sometimes, the greatest blessings come disguised as the hardest trials. This is the story of how God carried my family and me through 7 long months without a job, a season filled with setbacks, unexpected provision, and moments that tested my faith more than ever before. What I didn't realize then was that each twist in the road was part of a bigger plan, one I could only see when the storm was over. After the record-breaking snow on Christmas Eve and the incredible Christmas and New Year's, we began to get back to life as normal. The girls continued school, my wife went back to work, and I was still on the hunt for a job. A week or two into the new year, I received a call from the Employment Commission. They told me I had a new date set for my unemployment call. I asked why and mentioned that I won the case because my former employer didn't show up for the last call. I was told that they called the Employment Commission and told them that the call was scheduled so close to Christmas that they just couldn't make it and wanted another call. The commission granted it to them. I couldn't believe it. A day or two before the appointment, I received a random call. The person on the other end asked if I had heard from my attorney or not, and I said, "No, I'm not sure he is taking my case." The gentleman on the phone told me that I should contact him because he will be taking my case. He then hung up. Just a few minutes later, I received another call. It was from my attorney's office. They informed me that they have decided to take my case and will be on the next call with the Employment Commission. I don't even remember the details of the call. I do remember winning and not having to pay any money back. One less thing to worry about. We decided to file a lawsuit against the company and the board of directors for wrongful termination. Now it was the start of the new year and companies still were not hiring. My wife had been volunteering at our church and met one of the associate pastors. He led a Bible study group for married couples our age and invited us to visit. As I mentioned before, I was not big on meeting a bunch of different people, especially when I was going on 3 months without a job. What I stepped into was a good-sized group, full of people willing to study God's Word. At the end of the study, they asked if anyone needed prayer. Seeing how I needed a job, I asked them to pray for me. We kept going back every week. Then the weeks turned into months, and I still didn't have a job. However, things were about to get interesting. I had received what I thought was my last check from my previous employer back in November, but I was still getting money directly deposited. The first check I thought I just miscalculated. Then there was another check. That's when I had to call and talk to payroll. I asked them what was going on, and I wasn't told to stop paying you until recently, so you will get one more partial check. I couldn't believe it. We had enough money to get through another month. I began to get depressed. I was applying for everything and was willing to take any job, but still couldn't find one. I interviewed a couple of times and was told that I was overqualified for the position. Eventually, I fell prostrate in prayer and asked God to show me what I was missing. Why wasn't I able to find a job? I told my wife I felt like a failure. She said, "Give it to God." I told her I did, and she responded with, "Then why are you worrying about it?" I was shocked. She had a good point. I was still holding on to it and hadn't truly given it to God. I immediately changed course, gave my worries to Him, and then proceeded to figure out how I could make the best of the time given to me. That's when I turned my focus to my oldest daughter. She was completing her last year of high school online, and it was really tough. Online school was new back then, and the tests and material had mistakes in it. I couldn't believe it. She was spending 8 hours a day doing school and then had to fight with the teachers to point out mistakes that were made on the tests. That was it. I realized that I could sit there with her and answer any questions she had. If she had problems with a certain topic, I spent the time helping her understand it. It was a lot of work, but we had fun doing it. She did so well that she was able to enroll in college courses at 16 or 17. I feel that this time with her day in and day out for months helped us to bond and correct the mistakes I made when she was younger and I wasn't as involved as I should have been. God continued to bless our family. One month we received 2 letters from our insurance company. Enclosed in each letter was a check. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I thought I had made a mistake. I showed them to my wife and she said, "Do you realize what those are?" Obviously I did not. She pointed out the name of the insurance company on the checks. It was a company that we quit doing business with 5 years ago. They were going through the books and realized that they didn't refund my money when I left them. The total of the 2 checks was, once again, enough to get us through the month. As I was applying for jobs, I found one that really interested me. It was with a contractor that I had never heard of before. However, there was something in the job post that made me think it was at a company that I had wanted to work at for decades. My friend Brian had gone to work there when I went to work for the non-profit ministry. I had used Brian as a reference, and as a result, I got an interview. Sure enough, it was the company I had wanted to work for since I had learned about it. After the interview, I was hired. I had made it through 7 months without a job and never missed a payment on my house, car, or motorcycle. I was going to work for the company I had wanted to since I was 18. It was pretty cool. Then came the icing on top. My attorney had negotiated with my former employer regarding the lawsuit I had filed against them for wrongful termination. By taking my new job, I had mitigated my losses and a settlement was reached. In the end, I was awarded for every dollar I lost in those 7 months of unemployment. So, while it was a stressful time, I managed to make the most of it with my daughter and was rewarded for my time without a job. It was truly amazing. God provided for us once again. I hope this story encouraged you. While it was the ending of a 19-month battle for my job, it laid the foundation of faith that would launch my spiritual journey.